Before we begin this special prayer, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment the name of someone who needs prayer today. When you interact, this message reaches more hearts who also need comfort and direction. Now, take a deep breath, open your heart, and allow this word to speak to you. A new day begins. The sky is just starting to be painted with light, but in many hearts, there is a storm that gives no rest. It cannot be heard, but it weighs heavily. Bodies awaken, but the soul remains curled up in the corner of pain. Some people breathe, yes, but feel as if each breath drags along an invisible burden, as if their heart has no strength for one more day. It's the accumulated fatigue of so many battles, of long nights without answers, of disappointments that still throb in silence. Have you ever felt this way? Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to move forward when the soul is wounded? David, the man after God's own heart, felt the same. He didn't begin Psalm 61 with victory shouts, but with the cry from the soul, "Hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee, when my heart is overwhelmed." He wasn't a king speaking from the throne, but a child speaking from the ground. He acknowledged his limit, his need, and that, far from being weakness, is spiritual wisdom. This verse isn't just ancient poetry. It's a key for your morning. It's an invitation to pray without masks, to come to God without rehearsed speeches, to speak to Him from your truth, from your fragility, from the exact point where you can no longer go on your own. When you do that, something starts to change. Maybe not outside of you, but within. Because when you cry out from the heart, heaven responds. It always responds. If these words have touched you, comment with faith. Today I take refuge in you, Lord. There are moments in life when the path feels slippery. You walk, but each step seems more uncertain than the last. Not because you've lost faith, but because weariness has begun to speak louder than hope. And right there at that breaking point, where everything inside you trembles, the prayer of Psalm 61 comes to life. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. This isn't just a beautiful phrase. It's a deep plea. It's the humble recognition of someone who can no longer go on, but knows who can. It's not about seeking escape, but asking for a new perspective. That rock is not a location. That rock is Christ. It is the place where your feet are planted when everything else collapses. By asking to be led there, you are saying, "Lord, I don't have the strength to climb on my own. I can't scale this pain or conquer this fear by myself, but you can lift me up." And He does. He lifts you, not so you ignore what hurts, but so that you see from His height what you cannot understand from the ground. From that rock, you see clearly. You understand that the storm is not the end, that pain does not have the final word, that your story is not summed up in this trial, because from that height, the Father's voice is clearer than fear. And that high place is available today. You don't need merit or titles or achievements, just a sincere heart that says, "Lead me," and He will. Lord, there are moments when I feel like my soul is slowly fading, not from lack of faith, but from the constant weight of the battle. The day begins, but inside me there are still shadows that haven't left. Yet as I remember your word, something in me reignites, because I'm not alone, because you are near to those who cry out from the dry ground of the heart. David cried from the abyss, from the edge of his own desperation, but he didn't stay there. He said, "For you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy." What a powerful declaration. He doesn't speak of a God who waits at the summit, but of one who descends into the valley to cover us with His shadow. And that refuge is not just an idea, it's a real experience. It's the certainty that even when everything around you is shaking, there is a place in Him that remains firm. A tower where arrows cannot reach, where the world's noise is silenced, where the soul breathes and rests. And that place is you, Lord. Every time you've held me, when I thought I couldn't go on. Every time you lifted me when I had no words left. Every time you loved me, even when I couldn't love myself. That's who you are. Refuge, shield, a presence that never abandons. And today, once again, I run to you, not to hide from the world, but to face life from within your embrace. Because with you, I can do all things. Because in you, even my tears have meaning. Write in the comments, "You are my refuge, my strong tower, my eternal shield," and share this prayer with someone who needs to remember that there is still hope. When the heart is tired, when inner strength seems depleted, that's when your voice, Lord, resounds louder than ever. Not like a thunder that frightens, but like a whisper that comforts. It's in that stillness where I discover that your presence doesn't depend on my emotions, but on your constant faithfulness.
David didn't just ask for refuge. He longed for something deeper, to dwell with you. He said, "I will dwell in your tabernacle forever." He wasn't only seeking temporary protection, he desired eternal communion. He understood that the soul only finds rest when it remains with you, not just when it seeks you in emergencies, but when it chooses you as its dwelling place. And I want that too, God. I don't want to be a visitor to your presence. I want to be a permanent resident. I don't want to run to you only when the storm hits, but to live under your wings every day, every morning, in every decision, in every silence. Dwelling with you means waking up each day knowing I am not alone. It means walking with a sense of direction. It means living with purpose. Because when you are my home, I lack nothing. In your shadow, there is peace, guidance, and rest for my soul. And even though the world offers me 1,000 distractions, I choose to stay with you. Even if my flesh grows tired, my spirit longs for you. Even when I don't understand everything, I trust you. Because I've tasted your love and nothing compares to it. If you long to live every day in God's presence, comment below, "Lord, make your presence my eternal dwelling," and share this message with someone who needs to find that refuge. Lord, this morning, I don't seek you as someone looking for a quick solution. I seek you as someone who has understood that outside of you, there is no life, no meaning, no lasting peace. I don't want an occasional visit to your presence. I want to stay. To dwell with you is not a privilege for a few. It is the calling of all your children. And even if I feel unworthy, even if I fail sometimes, you do not cast me out. Your grace opens the door every time I return with a sincere heart. Living with you is possible because you chose to dwell in me. That's why even if the world pulls me away, even if sin tries to seduce me, I will choose to return to you again and again, because only under your wings do I find true rest. Many people think that to remain in your presence, one must be perfect. But you're not looking for perfection, you're looking for surrender. You don't ask me to come flawless, you ask me to come sincere. You don't need fancy words, only a heart that says, "Lord, here I am, tired, but yours." And in the midst of exhaustion, you lift me. In the midst of silence, you speak to me. In the midst of confusion, you bring direction. Dwelling with you, God, is the best decision a soul can make. It is choosing to live by faith, walk in trust, and breathe your peace in the midst of chaos. If you decide to make God's presence your daily refuge, write in the comments, "I want to dwell with you, Lord," and bless someone by sending them this prayer. Beloved Lord, there are days when faith doesn't burn like fire. It flickers like a spark, barely resisting the wind. Days when the soul is exhausted. Prayer feels like a lost whisper, and silence weighs more than 1,000 words. But even in those moments, when everything in me wants to give up, I choose to believe. Because true faith is not a passing emotion, it's a constant decision. It's looking up to heaven when everything seems dark and still saying, "I trust you." It's continuing to walk when there are no signs. It's praying without immediate answers. It's worshiping while the soul cries. David went through this too. In Psalm 61, he doesn't speak from a triumphant faith, but from a faith that struggles, that cries out from the edge, that clings to what it knows about God more than what it feels in the moment. That is the faith that moves mountains. Not the one that shouts loudly, but the one that stands firm when everything shakes. Father, I don't want to rely on my emotions. I want to rely on your truth. Help me remember that you don't love me more when I'm strong, nor less when I'm weak. Your love is constant, and in that love I take refuge today, even if my faith is small, even if my strength is gone. Because a spark in your hands can ignite an eternal flame. If your faith feels weak today, write in the comments, "Lord, even if my faith is small, I trust you." And may this prayer reach the heart of the one who needs it most. Lord, today I choose to remember, because when faith wavers, memory becomes an anchor. I remember the times I stood at the edge and didn't fall, the nights I cried without comfort and yet woke up with new strength, the days I thought I wouldn't make it and somehow I did. It wasn't luck, it was you. It was you who held me when I couldn't walk. It was you who spoke to me in the midst of chaos. It was you who opened paths when everything was closed. And if you did it before, you will do it again. Because you do not change. You do not grow weary. You do not forget. You are the same God yesterday, today, and forever. David said, "You have been my refuge." He didn't say it from theory, but from experience. And I can say it too. You have been my refuge, my strong tower, my support in the storm. That's why even if I don't understand today, even if I don't see things clearly, even if the path ahead is uncertain, I will trust in what I know. You are faithful. Thank you, Lord, because your faithfulness doesn't depend on my mood, because your presence doesn't leave when I feel low. Thank you because even in the desert, you remain my spring of life. If you remember a moment when God held you, write in the comments, "Thank you, Lord, for always being there."